Good morning, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to News in Motion with Gail Dudley. While we're preparing the show, please remember to like, follow, comment, and let us know where you're tuning in from, whether it's on Facebook, LinkedIn, or YouTube. With that being said, let's get the show started.
News in motion.
What's up, everybody? This is called the sleepy face, okay? But so much was accomplished. I am so pumped today. I hope y'all like that lead in from Isaiah. Can we call you Isaac? From Isaiah, as we're just doing some new things and we're being excited about them. So I see you, Deborah Johnson. I see you, Jeffrey Allen James. I see you, Sardinia. What's up, Judy Neal? I see you, Pastor Alex. Shirley Nicholson, what's up to you? Dr. Antoinette, oh my. We got a lot to talk about today. Marion Jackson. Oh, these are two necklaces. These are two. Thank you, Deborah. Y'all, we have so much to cover. I see you, Robert Holman. I see you, Louis Pryor III, my brother. I see all of you rolling up in here. Listen, I probably slept 2 hours, okay, but yesterday it was just exciting. Look, Joe ain't sleepy no more. He's just not sleepy anymore, regardless of what side of the aisle you're on. Joe Biden is not sleepy any longer. That ain't happening. He's wide awake and he's kicking butt and taking names. I was like, what? I was like, how many vitamins did you take today? What's really going on here? But he did it. He did the thing. And what was so beautiful, the reason I stayed up last night, because y'all know I get the speech. And then we got the one afterwards after he did some ad libbing. But I went through so many notes. This is 21 pages of his speech. And I went through and took notes and fact checked and all of that so that I can bring that to you today. But listen, Linda. He did that thing last night. I was like, and here's the thing. Democrats, here's your messaging right here. Just get the printout. I'm sure y'all got a copy. Just get this, and these are your talking points. You need nothing else. He gave you everything. Your A's won't even have to do any work. Just do this, and it'll be okay. I see you, Deborah Sneed. I see you, Lori. I see you. So we're gonna get to that in a little bit. It's amazing. And I'm gonna be honest with you all. It does something for me. It does. I'm not even gonna lie. Everybody needs that. Yeah, finish the job. That's it. Look, and wait a minute, David. He said that 12 times. I counted it. Yes, I counted them. I went back and did my research. But listen, there are so many people who were inboxing saying, I know you're going to do a recap. So I didn't really watch it. I said, no, you need to watch this because he is throwing down. So, but it does. Everyone needs that lift you up. And when people say, I can't wait to tune in to hear your recap. And I'm telling you, I took a lot of notes. I got some recap for you. And, at one point, I thought I was watching the British Parliament in session. I was like, when did we go British on during our State of the Union? What is happening? But listen, Joe's mind is good, y'all. His mind is sure enough good because he was able to go at it with them and come back on track and keep it moving. I said, Joe's not asleep. He's not asleep. All right, y'all, we're going to get to that in a little bit. Let me slow down. Let me wrap this back, pull it back a little bit because we have a lot, and I want to share this with you also. We're going to be a minute today. Now, I got somewhere to be at 9 o'clock. So we're going to make this work. So we're going to be a little over today. Consider it 45, 50 minutes. We got to wrap all of this in here. And then another piece I want to share with you. And if you all are not on the membership, you do it if you want to. But based upon everything I shared with y'all, and that was another feel good moment for me last night. I got to be honest with y'all. I looked over at my husband. I said, man, my study, my research has been on point. I said, even telling the news and motion viewers what he was going to cover based upon what I was seeing, not having all the full bullet points. I said, I was on point with that. I said, everything that I've been sharing on news and motion since, I don't know, before the election, I'm seeing it all. I said, this has come all the way around for me. And my husband said, and you should feel good about that. He said, because I see you studying, I see you going through, even at 2 a.m. this morning, he says, it's time for you to go sleep. And he said, you got to get up in 2 hours. And I said, yeah, but I got to take a few more notes. So this is all just energy and all just everything because I'm just that excited. But just to see how all of this has come around. And I said, wow, news in motion is really the place to get your news. Now, we cut up sometimes, we laugh sometimes. We may do some things that you may not like at times, but we really do bring y'all the news. So I want to shout out Dr. Monica Lowe, who normally tunes in from LinkedIn because of her post yesterday. She said, forget MSNBC, forget CNN. She said, I'm getting my news from News in Motion. And that is what I want to bring to you all. And being able to see all this unfold in last night's speech did something for me. It really did. And I want to thank all of you who continue to tune in and check out what it is that we're doing. Kim Edmondson says you should feel good about the work you're doing. I'm so excited about it. I'm just so excited about it. So with that, y'all, it is Wednesday, February the 8th, 2023. I am your host, Gail Dudley, in case you didn't know. And it's time for some news in motion. We're taking a little different turn today because we're going to recap the State of the Union. Before we do that, we want to continue with our Black history. And today we want to shout out one of our own who will be bringing us the game over in a few moments. But that is Kenny Stanley. And Kenny Stanley has had a heart for doing a sports recap for years. And I recognized his gift. As he continued to strengthen his gift, I decided it's time for me to put him in this space, whether it's on News in Motion or somewhere else. And Kenny accepted that. So y'all, Black history on today, February the 8th. I just want to shout out Kenny Stanley, even though sometimes it can be difficult. Sometimes there's internet challenges, as y'all were able to witness both Monday and last Monday with Kenny, but he kept pressing forward. That's a man who's chasing after his purpose that God has already assigned and ordained for him. So I just want to shout out Kenny. Y'all can check him out here on News in Motion. You can also check him out on Saturdays at 6:30 p.m. And this all comes under the Ready Media LLC umbrella, if you will. But Game Over with Kenny, he comes in, he's been digging deeper with some of his story pieces, and you just want to continue to check him out. With that, I'm going to turn it over to Kenny so he can give us the sports, and then we're going to come back and we're going to talk about the State of the Union with our president, President Joseph Biden. So come on in, Kenny, after we play his intro.
Good morning.
Good morning. You also have Adrian that says, shout out to Mr. Kenny. He's an awesome barber as well. So there's that.
Thanks, Adrian. Thank you, Adrian.
But go ahead and take it over.
Hey, News in Motion family. Welcome to Game Over with me, Kenny Stanley. Hey, I want to hurry up. I'm not going to be long because I want to hear this recap from last night. Joe Biden went in, so I want to hear the recap. So I want to see what Gail has to say. But hey, Super Bowl Sunday is Super Bowl 57. We kick off this Sunday. You got the Kansas City Chiefs and the Philadelphia Eagles. They face off in Arizona at State Farm Stadium. Kickoff is at 6:30 on Fox. And for the first time in NFL history, the starting QBs for both teams are black men. Hey, I can't wait to see this. I hope it's a good game. I don't know who I'm going to go for. I'm kind of leaning towards Philadelphia, but that's kind of hard because I'm a Dallas fan. But I'm leaning towards Philadelphia. I want to see Jalen Hurts do his thing. Hey, the NBA is heating up. In the West, it's up for grabs. So anybody can take the West. You got Phoenix over the Nets last night, 116 to 112. You got the Pelicans over Atlanta, 116 to 107. Denver crushed Minnesota, 146 to 112. And OKC nipped the Lakers last night, 133 to 130. But that wasn't the highlight of the night. The highlight of the night was the King. Yep, that's right. LeBron James is now the NBA all-time scoring leader. He needed 36 points to pass Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and he finished with 38 points, giving him 38, 890. He passed him on his fadeaway jump shot with 10 seconds left in the third quarter. They stopped the game for about 7 to 10 minutes to celebrate him. Kareem gave him the basketball as passed the torch onto LeBron. He's a great player. He's a great player. I don't care what nobody say. As far as NBA wise, to me, I always said that it was Dr. J and Allen Iverson. That's my GOAT. Everybody, a lot of people were saying that it's Michael Jordan as the GOAT. But after last night and seeing what LeBron did, I would like to see him get another ring, but even if he doesn't, he did something. He's a pass first player. Never thought he was going to be a scoring champ or a scoring leader like this. He never set out for that goal. He just wanted to go out and play basketball. LeBron James, in my book right now, from what I witnessed, I love watching greatness. I say it all the time. You got to learn to appreciate greatness. And we seen it last night right before our eyes. LeBron James is the GOAT of the NBA. That's just that. That's facts. You can argue with me all day long if you want to. It's really not an argument for what he did. LeBron James is the GOAT. Don't get me wrong. I can't take nothing from Michael Jordan's game. I can't take nothing from Kobe Bryant's game or none of the greats that have been played. What he did last night and for what he's doing in the NBA on the court and off the court, he is definitely the GOAT. So that's sports. We're going to get back to Gail because I got to hear what's going on with this recap from last night's State of the Union. Keep doing what you got to do, Joe Biden. Hey, everybody, I see y'all Saturday at 6:30. Hey, that's game over. I see y'all. Have a good one.
Hey, Kenny, you
Yeah.
crack me up. You crack me up. But I love that, and I want to personally say congratulations to LeBron James as well. When I saw that, I was like, that's outstanding.
Yeah, that's
So
outstanding.
yeah, and y'all, we were in the green room, and Kenny and Isaiah were having. I said, "What do y'all mean? Is that good? Is that bad? What's happening?" Because I know nothing about it. I just knew that he did win. That he did hit that number. Come on in here, Isaiah. I see you hurting to come in here. Come on, I see him. What do you want to say, Isaiah?
I was just saying that Kareem was a little hurt, and I was saying the cameraman was petty for going to Kareem after LeBron broke the record because Kareem was hurt. And he held the record for almost 40 years, so I would be hurt too.
The look on his face. Did you see the look on his face? Like,
He was like that.
Hey, but it's
Kareem was
time.
like
It's
this.
time. It's all good. It's all good.
yeah.
All right, y'all, let's get to the State of the Union. Before we do that, I do want to bring up once again the report. New York Times reported at 6 a.m. Eastern time this morning that the earthquake death toll has passed 11,000. And I did my fact checking to make sure that number is correct, and it is. It's inching closer to 12,000, and that's in Turkey and in Syria. Yesterday, I shared with you some ways that you can donate. Please make sure you vet those sources. Hopefully, later on today, we can get up that a document for YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn so that we can have that information. So that is happening. Another quick Black History thing. It was just amazing to see Associate Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson walk into the chambers on last night. With that, y'all, I'm gonna try real hard to save all of my shenanigans for later when it comes to all of my commentary with everything that's happening. But I want to get in here to really break this down. A lot was happening. A lot was happening. And before I get too deep into it, I want to just talk about because I go between C-SPAN, MSNBC, PBS, and sometimes I was going online with USA Today because they were streaming as well. But on MSNBC, I believe it was Chris Hayes. I could be wrong, but I believe it was Chris Hayes. When the cameras got to George Santos, see, but he opened this up, and I said, "Oh, this is going to be a fun night." I believe it was Chris Hayes who said, "Who's that? Tom Cruise?" I said, "Oh my gosh, the jokes just will not stop when it comes to George Santos. They just will not stop." With that, I want to get into to the State of the Union. There's 21 pages of the speech. I'm not covering it all. I'm going to go through and get some of the highlights out of there. The hashtag, and Davia put this on here, and I think Dr. Antoinette did as well. Finish the job. He said that 12 times. And again, this is the message, Democrats. This is your message. Don't come off script. You have 21 pages to run your message for the next 2 years. This is your message. Please don't veer off to the left or the right or wherever. Stay on course. All right. He starts off by congratulating. He called out Speaker and Madam Vice President, First Lady, Second Gentleman, his cabinet, Justice, all that. Then he said, I start tonight by congratulating members of the 118th Congress and the new Speaker of the House, Kevin McCarthy. And then he turns to him and says, I don't want to ruin your reputation, but I look forward to working with you. That right there told me, oh, Joe's going in tonight. He's going in tonight. He's not holding anything back. He congratulated Hakeem Jeffries. He talked about the longest Senate leader in history. Yeah, there's a problem with that, but that's Mitch McConnell. He congratulated Chuck Schumer. And then he said, I give special recognition to someone who I think will be considered the greatest speaker in the history of the country, Nancy Pelosi. All right. Then he talked about creating the 12 million new jobs, more job creation in 2 years than any president has ever created in 4 years. That is fact. Over and over and over again, even Fox News had to finally admit that is fact. He talked about COVID. He talked about the bruises of America, the democracy remain, but through the bruises of America, democracy remained unbowed and unbroken. Then he talked about America being a place of possibilities. And then he goes in. All right, y'all, let's break this down. He goes on to say, we're often told that Democrats and Republicans can't work together, but over these past 2 years, we proved the cynics and the naysayers wrong. He said, yes, we disagree plenty. And yes, there are times when Democrats had to go at it alone. But time and time again, Democrats and Republicans came together. He talked about came together to win a generation and to build up. He goes on to say, in fact, I signed over 300 bipartisan laws since becoming president, from reauthorizing the Violence Against Women Act to Electoral Count Reform Act to Respect for Marriage Act and to protect the right to marry the person you love. He goes on and he begins to unpack and he begins to dig deeper. Now, if anyone thinks that Joe Biden is not doing anything in this Biden-Harris administration, they're asleep somewhere and they need to truly wake up. So he talks about that they sent the people the people sent them a clear message, meaning all of them, fighting for the sake of fighting, for the sake of power, conflict for the sake of conflict, gets us nowhere. So he really took time to build up where he was going. All right, so then he gets into jobs. Now, I want you all to hear this. And this is one of the moments last night where I said, wow, we have been bringing this informational news in motion. I'm hoping that the entire world will hear it. I looked to see how many viewers viewed over all the stream sites last night, and that number is not in yet, which also indicates the number of Americans that were indeed tuning in. So I'm not going through all of it. He says, let's look at the results. Unemployment rate at 3.4%, a 50-year low. That is the truth. And I said that on yesterday that he would be bringing that up, and he did. And it says near record low unemployment for Black and Hispanic workers. Then we get into jobs. And I want you all to hear me when I get into this job piece. because again, we have an opportunity here that I hope that we go after. Number one, he says, we already created 800,000 good paying manufacturing jobs, the fastest growing in 40 years. Everyone, including Fox News, said fact. That's a fact. Y'all, created, not just filled it, created 800,000 jobs. Okay. Then, and there's my sister. Y'all know she had surgery. She's in here now. Patricia Lyles. Everyone just continue to pray her healing. I don't know how you can stay in a room with four walls for 6, 7, 8 weeks, but she has come through that thing. So I'm glad to see that's my biological sister, y'all. Patricia Lyles is on there. So good morning to you, my sister. And he talks about where is it written that America can't lead the world in manufacturing again. He said, for too many decades, we imported products and exported jobs. Now, thanks to all we've done, they took credit and they need to take credit. He talks about inflation has been a global problem because of the pandemic, which is true, that disrupt supply chains, and Putin's war that disrupt energy and food supplies. All of that is true, y'all. He talked about that America's in a better position. He says, but we have more to do here at home. And he says inflation is coming down. Yesterday, I don't remember who asked this question, but someone said something about, I thought the president doesn't control gas prices. I'm not for sure who that was. I remember seeing that pop up. I'm going to answer that question for you. And no, he doesn't. But that is all attached to inflation. He's talking about the gas prices are down $1.50 a gallon since their peak. And he talked about food inflation coming down. Inflation has fallen every month for 6 months. And he's tying all of that back into inflation and supply chains, and all of that's connected. And because they identified the inflation piece, everything else is coming down. Oh, that's Kim Edmondson. She said that was me. So everything is coming down. So it's not just one thing or another. No, he does not. No president control gas prices. It's because of inflation and everything coming down in the supply chains. They're able to bring down those gas prices. So that's the connection to that. And thanks for raising that. I should have said that yesterday and I did not. Now, here's where I question him. Y'all know I want to be fair and balanced here. Here's where I question him. He says, additionally, over the last 2 years, a record 10 million Americans applied to start new small businesses. That number is true. We have fact checked that. That number is true. It's now inching close to 11 million. But here's the problem. There can be application, but where are the funds for us to run our businesses? That's the question. That's the question. Even here on social media, we have all these influencers doing all this great work. Isaiah came yesterday to tell us about shadow banning and what's happening, especially with Black and brown people on all these platforms, how we're not getting the recognition and we're not getting those funds, because even here on News in Motion, and Isaiah shared this yesterday, we had the Facebook numbers that they give to us as proof. Isaiah, I don't know if you had that number on with you. Can you please come in here if you have that number and share those numbers? Y'all, just from Monday, we see numbers like today, we're seeing like 31 live viewers. But when the reports come in, it'll say 1,419 viewers. And we're like, well, why didn't you show us those? Do you have those numbers?
Yes, I do. So you sent this to me. So our post reach is at 1,959. Post engagement is at 4,118. We had six new page followers, with 1,827 reactions, 1,334 comments, 107 shares, 141 link clicks, and 16 photo views.
So y'all, that information right there. Thank you, Isaiah. When we're talking about influencers and social media, that number right there, there's a disconnect. And what companies are doing is saying, well, we're seeing live views as something else. Well, that's the shadow banning. And that is something that is happening that we have to continue to dig into and look at. And thank you, Latrice. So even when it comes to shadow banning, how we can control that narrative is to share, is to like, is to comment. which shifts the algorithm so that more people can get this fact-based news. Mike Nicholson says, my Facebook checks went from $2,800 plus a month to $400 a month. That's called shadow banning, y'all. That's saying, oh, he's doing too much, so we want to bring him down, which means we have to do our part as well. So I fight, I push back a little bit with, okay, that number is true, but where's the funds? How are we going to access that money? I'm glad you asked, because now we have a monthly membership that you can opt in each month. And this month is small business, y'all. And this month, not only are you getting a bonus this week, today, it will drop. You also received a 1-hour presentation along with the presentation packet that go with it. And today I'm going to talk during this show briefly about your bonus, and all of you who are tuning in can get this. And it's about the pitch deck. How do you pitch? Because I'm grabbing the information off of the White House from the press room, and I'm giving this information to you. So just hang with me, y'all. Hang with me. So that's where I do question that. All right, I'm not going over all this. So he goes into today's automobiles need up to 3,000 chips each, but American automakers couldn't make enough cars because there were not enough chips. Car prices went up, so did everything from refrigerators to cell phones. He said, we can never let that happen again. That's why he said they passed in the Bipartisan Chips and Science Act. He said, we're making sure the supply chain for America begins in America. Then he says, get this again, y'all. They created 800,000 manufacturing jobs. Then he talked about Columbus, Ohio. Y'all, Ohio was on the map. I said, well, let me just stay in Ohio because something's happening here. Talks about the intel. He talks about they announced, and y'all, this number is correct. And I've shared this number right here with you all on News in Motion. Y'all, there's more than 300 billion. That's with a B dollars in investment in American manufacturing. And we can tap into that money. We just have to take the leap and start the business and do things. Y'all, stop going after all the nice glory jobs. There's jobs in chemical engineering. There are jobs in concrete. Y'all, just imagine that. Concrete workers. Set up that trucking company. Transport, take over the supplies that are needed. Y'all, we have to start thinking broader. The money's there, 300 billion. That's just in one section, y'all. That's just in one section. Talked about created hundreds of thousands of jobs across the country. In Intel here in Columbus, y'all create 10,000 new jobs, 7,000 construction jobs. Do you have a construction background? Do you have a construction business? How can we do this? And then 3,000 jobs once the factories are finished. Y'all, the jobs at Intel are paying $130,000 a year, and many do not require a college degree. So I want to say this, y'all, get your resume together. Get your resume together. Okay, I'm going to skip around a little bit. So I want to get down where he says, already we funded over 20,000 projects. Y'all, that's a part of that 300 billion. So they've already funded 20,000 projects. Even my mind was going last night. I'm like, well, how can News in Motion go on site and interview some people? Hey, can we get money for that? Can we help write your communications? Can we get money for that? What can we do? How can we fit into this? Can we be a part of your promotion base right here on News in Motion? Can we get dollars for that? You have to use that creative thinking to do it. Mike Nicholson says he designed resumes if you need help, y'all. Here's the resources, y'all. He put it out there. Jump on there and do that. He talked about the projects will put hundreds of thousands of people to work, rebuilding highways, bridges, railroads, tunnels, ports and airports, clean water, high-speed internet across America. Stop right there. You're probably saying, well, I don't have background in that. Somebody needs to answer the phone. Somebody needs to send emails. They're going to need virtual assistants. Somebody's going to need that PR piece, that marketing piece. Y'all, don't just look at what they're putting together with. You might say, I can't build a bridge, but can you order supplies? Y'all, we got to be creative in our thinking. Y'all, $300 million is out here. It's out here. So start your business, y'all. Start your business. He says, and we're just getting started. I sincerely think, now this was a good one right here. He says, thank my Republican friends who voted for the law, and to my Republican friends who voted against it, but still ask for funds to fund their projects in their districts. Then he goes, "Don't worry, don't worry, be happy, don't worry." He said, "I promise to be the president for all." He says, "We'll fund your projects." This was an epic line. "And I'll see you at the groundbreaking." He's like, "I'm going to be a part of this. I'm going to be a part of this. And you're going to have to ask me for this because you need it." And he says, "I'm a president in red states and blue states and green states and whatever other states that are out there." He talked about major projects like the Brent Spence bridge between Kentucky and Ohio. Now, shout out to Sarah. Did y'all see Sarah in the gal in the box up there? He talked about that. He came to Ohio or Kentucky on the line last month and to deliver 1.6 billion for that project. He handed over to Mitch McConnell. Well, he didn't, but you know how they do all the photo ops. 1.6 billion, and Mitch McConnell. That's why he got quiet. So let me just stay quiet right here. Let me just do what I need to do because this man did give us money here in our state. So Sarah, an iron worker, was there and he called her out. He says for 30 years, she has been a proud member of Iron Workers Local 44, known as the Cowboys of the Sky, who built the Cincinnati skyline. Sarah was happy. I like Sarah. I said, Sarah got all kinds of energy. Go ahead, Sarah. Bring it to us. Bring it to us. Now, I want to get to this piece. He says, we are also replacing poisonous lead pipes. Who got the e-newsletter on Monday from the Gail Dudley brand? It's a free newsletter. Everything. All you had to do is hit the link from the White House. Hit the link. I gave y'all what? 10 pages of the lead and pipe and lead paint project piece with the surveys, with how to get it out your home, with everything. Y'all, and then that's another proud moment for me last night because he brought that up. I said, wow. And I just gave that to over 400 and something people who signed up for the e-newsletter. Yeah. Yeah, that's how I gave it to another 1,000 and something. I gave it to another 10,000 something because these people are coming in saying, "Can I get that? Can I get that?" And they're signing up. And so that dropped on this past Monday. Now you may say, "Well, I still want it." Well, just email us. We'll get it to you because that's what we do here. We want to do our part as News in Motion to get to you the information that you need. So y'all, it tells you how to get rid of it, who to call, the money that's available. So y'all stop playing around. Some people, and I'm gonna call y'all out. Some people like, I ain't gonna sign up. That's just gonna make her have more numbers. Don't sign up. I'm giving real information. You choose what you want to do, but why would you sit on something that's going to make a difference for your home or your parents' home or your grandparents' home or your children's home? Why would we want to help people in our community to get the lead out of their pipes and out and deal with the paint and out of the water? Come on, y'all. This is where we need to work together for real. Forget partisan politics. Let's deal with I'm a constituent and I need this service. How about that? Why can't we just stop right there? So you can go to www.gaildudley.com and sign up. It is free, and we're giving you all the information you need. Last week, we talked about renter affordability and the whole piece with standards and policies when it comes to rental properties. Hello, somebody. That's the news that we're delivering here. He also talked about we're also replacing, he's dealing with child, let me back up. 10 million homes and 400,000 schools and child care centers to every child in America can drink clean water. That's back to the lead in the pipes. We're making sure that every community have access to affordable, high-speed internet. Let's talk about that. He talked about parents should not have to roll up to McDonald's parking lot so their kids can have internet. Let's talk about what failed during COVID, where all of these companies were saying, we're going to give you free internet. Then all of a sudden they start sending them bills for the free internet that they were supposed to have been giving them for 2 years. Let's talk about that. That's just wrong. That's just dirty. But don't worry, I'm coming for you in a minute. He also talked about new standards to require all construction materials to use federal infrastructure projects to be made in America. Now, here's a real question. He said, will you have the money to pay your medical bills? Will you have to sell your home? Let's talk about that. He then broke down in everything that dealt with big pharma. He talked about the drug companies. It only takes them $10 to for a vial to be made, but then they turn around and charge how many $300, $400, $500 for it. Look at the profit that's coming from that. That's highway robbery, y'all. That is ridiculous. That is absolutely ridiculous. He talks about the insulin being capped. We talked about that here at $35. He talked about out-of-pocket drug costs, Medicare at a maximum of $2,000. So then he says, why wouldn't we want to do that? So I want to talk about Speaker McCarthy for a moment. Y'all, he couldn't clap. He know that at any point he can be removed from his speaker seat. But what bothered me was everything he was delivering, talking about President Joe Biden, everything that he was delivering really does help stimulate the economy. It also helps middle class workers. It also helps those who are in poverty. And when he talked about middle class workers being able to reach back and the people in poverty are able to climb the ladder, they didn't clap. You should pay close attention to that when you go to vote in 2024 and even 2023 if there's any special elections, and there are some this year. Yeah, you should really pay attention to that. You should pay a lot to that. So he called out all this. He said, make no mistake, if you try to do anything to raise the cost of prescription drugs, I will veto it. He said that. He did. And then he says, y'all, this is important when it comes to the 2024 elections. He says, but the way the law was written for the Affordable Care Act, which 16 million people, and I'm not reading it verbatim how he said it, he said that benefit will expire in 2025. Let's talk about voting for a moment. Let's talk about if you're not a registered voter, it's time for you to become registered. And again, I told you I was going to go over a little bit, so just hang with me to become that registered voter. Y'all, because if you are benefiting, or if you know anybody in your life that's benefiting from the Affordable Care Act, the benefits expire 2025. So whoever is in that office, 2024, who's ever in the chamber, 2024, will determine if that continues or not. Don't sleep on that. Don't sleep on that. He also talks about we're building 500,000 electric vehicles. He talked about that. Climate crisis. He talked about that. He said, climate doesn't care if you red or blue state. It's coming. He talked about the idea that in 2020, 55 of the biggest companies in America made $40 billion in profit and paid zero income tax. Y'all should be concerned about that. He said, because no billionaire should pay a lower tax rate than a school teacher or a firefighter. That was a big line there as well. He said, you may have noticed the big oil just reported their record profits. I think I talked about this just a minute yesterday, but I didn't have the exact numbers. Well, I'm going to give it to you right now. He said last year they made $200 billion in the midst of global energy crisis. It's outrageous. And they paid zero taxes. Zero taxes. All right, I'm skipping around because I see the time. I know. But then Marjorie Taylor Greene showed herself last night. Y'all, Joe Biden was able to go back and forth with her. And what you call that phrase, rope-a-dope, he roped him in there. And on national television, he said, so this is off the table. We don't even talk about this anymore, right? Social Security and Medicare are lifeline for millions of seniors. He said Americans have paid into them with every single paycheck since they started working. So tonight, let's all agree to stand up for seniors. Stand up and show them that we will not cut Social Security. We will not cut Medicare. Those benefits belong to the American people. They earned them. If anyone tries to cut Social Security, I will stop them. And if anyone tries to cut Medicare, I will stop them. I will not allow them to be taken away. Not today, not tomorrow, not ever. He said, next month when I offer my fiscal plan, I asked my Republican friends to offer their plan. Then she wanted to call him a liar, and they went back and forth. He had all of them on their feet. Y'all, if anything, Joe Biden showed the world how to work with a room of grown people who are with him, and he won. It was like he was on the playground, and he was like playing chess, and he was doing this and that, and I said, he's brilliant. No one can question his mind. He's brilliant. I said, he played into that. He allowed her to come. He gave them just enough rope for her to respond, and he said, got you on live television. Now, listen, every Democrat that's running for office, Use that clip in all of your promotions along with these words, and you will win. I guarantee you'll win. All right, there's a whole lot. I'm not going to get out to all this, but here's a piece that really got me as well. When he recognized Tyree Nichols' parents, and he says, imagine having to worry whether your son or daughter will come home from walking down the street or playing in the park or just driving their car. I've never had to have the talk with my children, Bo, Hunter, and Ashley, that so many Black and brown families have to have with their children. If a police officer pulls you over, turn on your interior lights. Don't reach for your license. Keep your hand on the steering wheel. And he was given that illustration. And then he goes on to say, here's what Tyree's mom shared with me when I asked her how she finds the courage to carry on and speak out. With my faith in God, she said, her son was a beautiful soul and something good will come from this. He said, imagine having to worry like that every day in America. So much to unpack there, y'all. It was a phenomenal State of the Union speech. I went into it thinking, oh my word. Even after I saw the highlights, they only trickled out to us, to those of us who are journalists and have White House press passes. They only trickled out to us a summary, which did not go into detail like that. And then halfway through the speech, they then released the rest of it to us. And that's how I ended up with the 21 pages. Now, it's also on the whitehouse.gov website if you want to check it out. I believe it's up by now. They said it's supposed to be up at 5 a.m. this morning. So if you want to check it out, go and do that and see what's there, see what's happening. There's a lot, and I'm not going to cover it all because I want to get to this other piece real quick before I go to the inspirational message. But y'all, we have an opportunity here, so let's get it. So the bonus that I'm sending to everyone who's a part of the monthly membership, and if you're looking for the monthly membership, we're going to get that link in here in a few moments so that you can sign up if you wish, or just go and sign up for the newsletter. Again, that's gaildudley.com. The newsletter is completely free. The membership is $8 a month, and you have to opt in each month. This month, we're dealing with small business. Last month, we dealt with mentorship. Next month, we're going to talk about content writing, and all of that information. So what we're going to share briefly with you just in a few moments. If you want to hang out, you got to go. We understand you have to go. I knew it was going to be long. I want to talk about a pitch deck for a moment. We're talking about what we need. So it's so important to have your pitch deck together. Now, in my teaching here, and when those of you who are part of the membership, this is a bonus to you. I'm not going through the whole thing because everyone on here is not a part of that. But I do want to just give you just a little piece that's out here and what's in this pitch deck. Your pitch deck should only be about 4 to 6 pages. Here is a slide of 18 pages. But again, I won't be covering all 18 today. So you want to be mindful. You want to hit the key areas. So that's my copyright stuff right there. So y'all need to read that. But what's included in this is the problem, solution, product, and the evidence. These are 4 things you're going to want to cover. And with that, you always want to create an urgency. You want to describe why the problem needs to be addressed immediately. So what problem are you solving? What is your case statement? When building your pitch, the key is to clearly talk about the problem. What are the problems? So let's take bridges, for example. Bridges are a problem. Okay, you say, but I'm not an engineer. I'm not into that. Okay, well, what else comes with that? Again, are you a virtual assistant? Can you be ordering supplies? Can you be a project manager? Can you make sure that everything comes and goes? Can you be the HR people that will hire the subcontractors? Whatever. You pitch that. There's a need. The problem is there's not enough workers. We do not have enough people. That's the problem. So the solution comes to, this is what I can do for you, and here's how I'm going to do it. This is what we need to learn, and this is what we need to pitch. All right, I talk about 5 components to the strategy. Create a problem or need statement, case statement. Develop your plan of action. Map out the implementation. Design the projected budget. Communicate the measurables. How are you going to measure it? Seriously, y'all, how are you going to measure this? What does it look like in this season for you to put this out there? All of those pieces come together. That's your pitch deck. You're making this a pitch deck. You'll get other things in there. So I'll stop here on Slide 9, what? In 25 words or less, describe the problem you're solving. Why? What is your why? Details are needed here. And if you are part of the membership plan, you have a whole worksheet on what's your why. You already received that, those of you who joined. And then when? What's the timeline based upon the urgency? Y'all, yeah, we're news in motion, but God has allowed me to be gifted in multiple areas. And so when one thing's not going real well, or it's a slow time, I jump to something else. But all of these are gifts that God has given me, and I'm going to use them. I used to think that I could only do one thing at a time. Like, oh, I can only do one thing. God's like, I didn't tell you that. Now, there's some people that I've gifted that can only do one thing at a time. Yeah, that's not you. That's not who you are. You got to keep moving, sis. So there's more stuff here. Something about the strength of your pitch. You always want to have a few quotes. You want to have a business model. And again, those of you who are part of the membership, you're getting this whole thing. I'm not doing a video with it. You'll just have to go through it and follow along there. Then you also have to have quotes of people supporting you. And I just had to grab these quotes because this is Gail Dudley and this is News in Motion. And I have here, you want your testimonials to be no more than 2 short sentences. Make sure they stand out, such as the ones you see here on this page. From Jinx Media, that's Gina Wing. She says, most of all, I love that Gail is no BS, super high energy every single day. That's me. And then Monica Lowe, forget MSNBC, CNN. I'm listening to News in Motion with Gail D because you are sticking to the news. Good job. So these are just some things you want to add. And again, I skipped through a lot of them, but it's a pitch deck that you need and that you want to offer out there to your people. So y'all, there it is. And we will get the link to join the membership if you're interested. Lori says, people will try, but don't let people put you in a box and think you can only do one thing. You're absolutely right. Use all of your gifts. You're absolutely right. So y'all, let's talk about the inspirational message, and then we'll be out of here. And I want to talk about growth. I want to talk about growth with the inspirational message. If you follow me on Instagram, I made a post on yesterday. And it's a post of what I believe in. I firmly believe in it. I'm supportive of it. I've been in meetings with them over the past couple of months. I signed on as one of their partners, not under News in Motion, but under Gail Dudley, because I believe in it. It fits with the inspirational message of what I do here. It's a Jesus movement, and it's called He Gets Us. And you may have seen some of the commercials out there. He Gets Us. Well, yesterday I made the post. People were engaging, and then someone notified me, asked me, could they call me? I said, absolutely. They called me and they said, do you know who's supporting them? And I said, yeah, I've been in all the meetings. And they says, well, do you know, and I won't name the company here, this particular company is giving them money. And I said, well, they weren't on the initial list. And it took me by surprise because I would not align myself with this company. So I said, what do I do? So the first thing I did with growth, I just prayed. And I'm going to talk about growth because I have grown in an area over some time. And I wanted to share that because that's an inspirational message I think we all need. So the first thing I did, I took a step back, I prayed. I reached out to 2 people for wise counsel, 2 people for wise counsel, one being my husband, the other being a friend who would check me. I said, okay, what do I do? This is what happened. And so they gave me some wise counsel, and they said, okay, now it's time for you to do something. So the first thing you want to do, you want to ask the tough questions when it comes to growth. So I contacted my contact at the organization. I said, hey, what's this? And she says, our phones are ringing off the hook. Many of you are calling them. Yes, they became a partner late. We don't know why. They did an interview with NPR. We don't understand what's going on. And she says, Gail, this is the week leading up to the big game, because what's happening is it's a Jesus movement, and He gets us. And again, you may have seen some of the commercials. They're a commercial in the Super Bowl on this coming Sunday. It's a big deal. But everything about what they've been doing, I believe in, without a doubt. I believe in it. And so they said, they did give some money, but you cannot forget all the other people who've given us money as well. And there's some people who are anonymous as well. So I looked at, again, the list of people who were giving. I'm one of the people who's given to this cause. And I said, but I believe in this cause so much. So I have to make a decision. I said, and y'all know, I will not delete a post. I won't delete it. Not at all. I'm not doing that. That's growth. It's like I'm gonna stand by this decision and the decision I made. The thing is, I'm not taking money from this company, and this company and I are not in partnership. And there's going to be times when there are people who will come to the table that you're just not going to like. It made me think about Home Depot and Lowe's. They both give money to somebody that I wouldn't want to give money to, and I don't believe in their platform, their politics, or anything else. But I still have to go to Home Depot and Lowe's because that's where you're going. Where else are you going? The mom and pop shops are closing. So growth, thinking through what you're going to do and how you're going to respond. So ask tough questions, seek wise counsel, and then make a decision and then stand with that decision. That's growth. So I was able to look at it and say, okay, although I do not agree with this company, and yes, they have now become a partner of this movement is still too important for me to pull out. It's too important for me to pull out of here because what's happening, and this is going to happen on the biggest game of the year, that's what they're calling it. There is a 60-second commercial that I believe will change lives and people will get to know who Jesus is. I support that. Why? Because I support Jesus. I believe in Jesus. I follow Jesus. Y'all hear that on the inspirational message every Monday through Thursday. I'm not going to compromise that. Just because somebody gave some money to something, I can't compromise that. So y'all, if you saw the post and you're questioning it because someone said to me, and I understand their concern, they said, that's your brand. You may just mess up your brand. I had to decide what's more important, my brand or seeing people come to know who the Lord is. And their movement is absolutely phenomenal for this season. And here's what else. I spoke with a queer person who supports this organization. I did my due diligence in checking out this organization. I spoke to a same-sex couple who fought for marriage rights. I spoke with them and understood how this movement blessed them. I spoke with a young lady who was having conversations about having an abortion. This organization stood with her as she was walking through that decision, determining what it was she was going to do. I won't tell y'all what she did here on This Emotion. And I'm not saying that she did or she didn't. That's her business. That's not my story to tell. But I thought about those 3 different instances and said, okay, I'm going to stay here with this organization because they're doing something. All you have to do is Google, he gets us, he gets us, and read and see the videos and the phenomenal work that they're doing. So yes, I stand with them. I understand an organization is now giving them money, but there are other organizations that are giving just as much money, if not more money than that organization. So I made the decision to stand. What am I saying here to you for this inspirational message? Grow. At some point, we're like, I'm totally done. Anything they have to do with it, I'm over. But then at times you have to sit back and think through, okay, what decision am I really making? Kim Edmondson says, ask the tough questions, seek wise counsel, make the decision and stick with it. You know, we grow, we evolve, we look at things differently. We make determinations about that. And I believe the word is there with us. And one thing that came to me this morning is what the devil means for evil, God means it for our good. And that came to me this morning. I said, I'm sticking with them. I'm standing. So if you see the post and you're not excited about it, that's your decision. That's your choice. If you decide you can't hang with me, that's your decision. That's your choice. But it's all about growth and where we are. All right, y'all. Thank you for staying on with me real long. I'm going to go meet up with somebody at 9 o'clock. We're going to laugh, have a good time. I need it this morning. So y'all know what I say. Stay well. And remember, make some bold moves. I'm out.
Emotion.